I look over and I see, what I believe to be a man walking in a bikini. He had the full genitalia, the male genitalia.
A Lifetime Fitness in Missouri is under fire for allowing a biological male to use the women's locker room. So here to discuss it is Jason Whitlock, host of Blaze TV's Fearless. So Jason, welcome to the show. I am officially back, and I want to just thank you for all the kind words that you said the first time. But let's dive in to this story because it's absolutely insane. Take us through it. How did this get started?
Well, this man who was married for 23 years, had a child with his wife of 23 years. His wife worked at this Lifetime Fitness. The man was a member of Lifetime Fitness previously under his male identity. He's been recently divorced and has decided he's a woman. The state of Missouri listed him as a woman on his driver's license, and he used that driver's license to get a membership at Lifetime Fitness. Now, as a woman, I think he calls himself Eris Discordio Montano. And he started parading around in his royal blue bikini and went into the, woman's locker room and was confronted by Cindy Zykin. And then, all hell broke loose from there, and it set off 7, 8, 9, 10 days of him camping out. He's homeless. He lives in his car. And so he started camping out from basically 9 a.m. until the early evening at Lifetime Fitness, and protests ensued, and the attorney general got involved. And then he started making threats over social media and started targeting Cindy and her husband and other members that spoke out. But he actually, visited their home or their neighborhood as trying to intimidate Cindy and Andrew. And Andrew's a former Marine, and took appropriate precautions. But yeah, it's been crazy. And my take on all of this is just like, this is why we have to quit pandering to these groups, because we've elevated their expectations. This man should have no expectations. He's carrying a bat and 2 balls. He should have no expectations that he could use a woman's bathroom. But we've set those expectations for him, and so he's disappointed, and now he's threatening people.
Jason, we've seen similar weird things happen at Planet Fitness and other places that are allowing these mentally disturbed people to do this. What's going on with the business here, Lifetime Fitness? How did they respond, and are people upset with them?
Not well, but Lifetime Fitness, somewhat appropriate. I have some sympathy for him. Hid behind, like, hey, look, the state of Missouri gave him a driver's license that says he's a woman. We're going to treat him like that. That's our policy. We don't want to be sued or whatever. But I think the actual people that work at Lifetime Fitness, most of them were sympathetic to their membership, who thought this was outrageous. This guy is showering and grooming with women and children in that locker room. But I think the people that work at Lifetime Fitness feel like their hands are tied. And there's a handful of their employees that are woke and think, hey, this is just the way of the world and everyone needs to get on board. But Lifetime Fitness has not handled this the way we would want, but I'm a tiny bit sympathetic because the entire American culture has been pandering to this worldview or new social norm that all a man has to do is say he feels like a woman, and we all have to treat him like one. It's a joke.
So what's Lifetime Fitness doing then, or even just like the police in the community? You said that this man has shown up at Cindy's house, right? That is a very real concern. So what's being done in regards to that?
Well, eventually they did revoke his membership because of his social media posts. And some of his social media posts were so threatening, so unstable that they revoked his membership, and police came and removed him from the club. He's been banned from the club. The Zykins have a restraining order. He can't come within 500 feet of their home or of Cindy. So far he's been removed, but he has been making threats still, and he's posted the name of Cindy and some other people that he's upset with. But where we stand right now, and this is what upsets me, is just it feels like we're just waiting for something bad to happen, and then we'll complain rather than look. We need to get this guy the help that he needs, and we need to start treating these people that have these gender identity issues like they have, some mental concerns that need to be treated.
Jason, I love the way you talk about in this piece and others. It's pandering, but it's pandering to someone else's delusion. And you're a man who takes words very seriously when you write and when you speak. And could you say more about that for our audience? Because I feel like it's a very, very important point these days that when we live in this delusion.
Well, a world that's based on feelings, delusional emotions, is a world that invites chaos and dysfunction and disorder. And so someone saying, hey, I feel this way, and now we got to make all the rules based around their feelings. Well, what about when they feel something different? Because I would assume for a number of years, this man felt like a husband and father and a man. But this pandering that we're doing because we don't want to hurt people's feelings, it doesn't serve the greater society. It doesn't serve the individuals. It actually just promotes more and more chaos. I spelled out some hard truths in the column you guys referenced, just like, hey, as a Black person, I'm tired of the culture pandering to Black people and saying, hey, any shortcomings you're having economically, educationally, or whatever, it's all because of, systemic racism. Well, yeah, that's pandering. The truth is, it's because the abandonment of biblical values and the institution of marriage. When you look at marriage rates, when you look at the statistics of Black kids and Black families that are married and intact, they tend to be just as successful as the rest of society that's married and in traditional family. Once you destroy the family, chaos sets off and sets loose. And so we're lying to Black Americans about what the real issue is. And so we don't address the real issue. And then we just promote more and more chaos because our kids are unsupervised. They haven't been properly nurtured and developed in a two-parent home like they should be. Look, we've just spent 3.5 years pandering to Joe Biden and the political left. We all knew that he had cognitive issues. Many people on the left pandering, living in denial of that. And look, here's where we are. We're going to pander to Kamala Harris and pretend like she's a qualified person for the presidency. She's not. That's very dangerous. We're at the brink of World War III, and we're going to perhaps send a cackling, giggling woman who can't control her laughter to be the leader of this country. That's very dangerous.